Hello everyone, Jamarcus here, and I'm here with the semifinals of the Mafia division for the SPDA Season 1, and we're faced off against Paycheck. This is a rematch. We beat him in the regular season. It was a very close game, and I partially won because I got pretty lucky with an Ice Punch freeze from Hitmonchan. So this is a person I did not want to face whatsoever in playoffs. I was really counting on Kioma to beat him in quarterfinals, but that did not happen. So we're faced off against him for semifinals. Has two Pokemon faster than my whole team, has some great defense in Lantern, which I can't kill, and Gligar, and then Bisharp is incredibly threatening as well. My Dark Resist is Skuntank, and that kind of has to be catered to Poltegeist. I think Orthworm is fantastic this matchup, just except for Monferno, and Trapinch, unironically, is a bit of a threat. It traps a lot of my ground weaks. First impression for Raichu as well. So what did I bring? I brought Iron Defense, Body Press, Heavy Slam, Rest, Orthworm. With pretty much max F, it can live a Fire Blast from Monferno. It can live an Overheat from Life Orb Cyclizar. And then hopefully taking 3 hits from Lantern, I can just, on Modest Lantern that is, and I can just rest stall it forever. Next up is Hitmonchan. Adamant, a lot of attack, not very much speed. I brought a pretty fast Hitmonchan last time. I decided to lose some speed because I didn't think there was a huge reason for the Pokemon below 70 to be running speed, because it's really just Orthworm. But maybe they want to try and catch a slower Iron Thorns or Hitmonchan and be able to outspeed them. So I'm pretty slow, but I have a lot of HP. Drain Punch, Ice Punch, Mach Punch, and Rapid Spin. I wanted Knockoff for Poltegeist, and I wanted Poison Jab for Whimsicott, but I figured these 4 moves were all necessary. Rapid Spin was probably the one I was going to get rid of, most likely, but that did not end up happening. Next up, Iron Thorns, spikes 3 attacks, Adamant with enough speed to outspeed something. I don't remember what. And then some HP to be able to live an Earthquake from Gligar, and the rest in attack. This is my lead, unless I see a Trapinch. Next up, Scarf Swanna, the exact same set I brought last time. No changes whatsoever. Terrible Blast Ground looks great in the late game if I can get rid of Gligar and Whimsicott. Also just acts as a fast pivot, which is nice. Next up, Skuntank. This was Assault Vest for a week, but then a couple hours before the battle, I faced a mock where someone brought Defensive Poltegeist with Wisp, Strength Sap, Calm Mind, Shadow Ball, and it 6-0'd my team. So I put on Toxic on Skuntank. Defense lets me live +2 Iron Head from Bisharp, I think. SPDA. I don't remember, to be honest. A little bit of speed to try and catch something trying to be faster than me. And then Super Fang is really nice just to do big damage to anything. Temper Flare's there for the Bisharp, and then Knockoff otherwise is pretty good into their team. Last up, Illumise. I do have Terra Water, but I very much expect to be Terraing Swanna. Quite a bit of SPDF. This is actually not the right team, hold on. Okay, here's the team I ended up bringing. I had a bit more defense on Illumise, just to help a bit more against Gligar. But otherwise, the same stuff on everybody else. So what do I expect to see? Cyclizar, most likely. Bisharp, most likely. Whimsicott, probably. Gligar, probably. Lantern, probably. And then, honestly, one of anything else. We don't see a Whimsicott, that's nice. We end up seeing Poltegeist and Glaceon instead. So I'm leading Iron Thorns always. It matches pretty well into everything. Unless I see Glaceon or Poltegeist, then I will switch. So we see cycles our lead. This is fantastic. I just get a pretty free Ice Punch. I thought about clicking Ice Punch or Brick Break here. I was just trying to decide if I think Bisharp is more likely to come in, or Gligar or Glaceon. Because Brick Break is better into Bisharp and Glaceon, but Ice Punch is better into Gligar. I just clicked Ice Punch because I figured I can switch in. If Bisharp switches in, that's fine. I click Brick Break the next turn. But if the other two switch in, it's a bit of a different story. They knock off. This is fine. And I just click Ice Punch, do a huge amount of damage to this. It tells me they're not max HP, that they're pretty offensive, which is going to help Swanna kill them in the late game. And then the U-turn. Out comes Bisharp on an Ice Punch. That turn I was also considering, should I Brick Break, expecting this to come in, but figured I can just Brick Break the next turn. They Iron Head, and then on this turn I figured, okay, I know I'm faster, so I know they're max HP. They probably want a Sucker Punch because it does kill me, so I'm going to click Spike here. Even if they just attack me with Iron Head again and kill me, that's fine. I get a guaranteed Spike here, which is going to be a turn that Cyclosar has to spin. And if they are... Actually, I guess they'd be regen, so they wouldn't die to Spike, but I click Spike on their Sucker Punch. That's fantastic. And then I click Spike again, because I get another guaranteed Spike. Gligar comes out, and they end up being fast. I had a little bit of speed on Iron Thorns, actually quite a bit, to be faster than a defensive Gligar, but they end up having quite a bit of speed. Having an Illumise to Encore, I figured this was my safest play to guarantee they don't get spikes. If I click Encore, they Earthquake, that's fine. I can figure out this thing set. Maybe they have attack investment. If I were to go to Orthworm and start setting up, they would get 3 layers of spikes up. That's not good for me. If I go Swanna and click Hydro Pump, it might not kill. It probably won't kill. Depends on the set though. And then that also brings in Lantern for free, which pretty much means something is getting parried or burnt, which I don't like either. So I Encore. They end up being max attack. So I'm assuming this is max attack, max speed at this point. I don't think they're going to be very bulky, which means Ice Punch is cleanly to it killing from Hitmonchan. And then Swanna's Hydro Pump should be doing some pretty good damage as well. I click U-turn here, figuring they want to switch, and they sack Bisharp. Not too surprising. Out comes Cyclosar. This thing's going to want to spin. They reveal Boots. I want to keep this thing low so it dies to Swanna. So I just click Bug Buzz, which is my only real attacking move. There's no way for me to prevent the spin, so Bug Buzz it is. Then I U-turn here, figuring they want to switch. If they were going to click Double Edge and just kill me there, that's fine. Gligar comes out, I bring in Swanna. And up to this point, I think I was in a fantastic spot. Illumise has taken a lot of chip, but I think I'm doing pretty good. This turn, I probably could have made a different play. I know they're max attack, I know they've got some speed. So Hydro Pump, I believe, would kill, but let me check. Okay, so if they have no bulk, Hydro Pump pretty much always kills. But the more bulk they have, the less likely it gets. So I could have just clicked Hydro Pump here and try and prevent hazards from going up. But instead I clicked Flip Turn, which tells me they don't have very much bulk at all. And I go Hitmonchan because now they're in range of Ice Punch. I did consider that they could be dual Wing Beat. I will live that. And Ice Punch will kill them. I figured they're probably faster than me. There is a world that I click Rapid Spin here instead, but I figured they'd probably want to save Gligar and go Poltegeist to spin block. They do not. They dual Wing Beat. They get a crit, but then a low roll. Thank goodness, so I don't actually die. I click Ice Punch and kill them. If I had clicked Rapid Spin into Poltegeist and they spin blocked, I can just go Skuntank afterwards and I'm probably fine. So I think clicking Rapid Spin was always the play there. I would have been faster and could Ice Punch the next turn. And Rocks would have been gone, which would have been really nice for Swanna. I'm kind of forced to switch out now. Ice Punch is not doing very much damage to Poltegeist. And whether they're offensive and I give them weak armor, or they're defensive and I just die, I'm not accomplishing much with Hitmonchan here. So I decide to go into Skuntank. Hitmonchan is dead to rocks now, which is unfortunate. So that crit kind of mattered there. But I could also use this as a sack now, which could be beneficial. Skuntank comes in, they click Shadow Ball, they do 24%, tells me they're pretty much max special attack, so I'm assuming they're not that Wisp, Strength, Sap, Calm Mindset. This gives me a free Toxic. Toxic on anything here looks fantastic. I'm going to need some damage on Glaceon and Lantern and Poltegeist, but Terrablast Ground late game is looking pretty good. So I click Toxic. Glaceon getting Toxic is fantastic. I sack Hitmonchan. It's going to die at some point anyways. Let's throw it out now. I go Orthworm, and I click Iron Defense. As they throw up a Wish, I click Body Press this turn because I do not want Cyclizar coming in and getting that Wish. So even if they go Poltegeist, I'm fine with that. I do see leftovers on Glaceon there. They Shadow Ball, max special attack does a lot of damage. Heavy Slam also does a lot of damage. So they won't kill me with the next one. Not getting a SPDA drop there is really nice. But I don't want my Orthworm to be left at 4%, which means I'm going to die to rocks. Which that is not great, so I decide to sack Illumise here. I could have gone hard Skuntank there, but if they get a SPDA drop, they actually would have 2-hit KO'd me after the rocks, and I did not want to risk that. So I go right into Skuntank here, and click Knock Off. Does some good damage into Glaceon, and this lets me bring back in Orthworm to get my rest off. They Terra Ground Terra Blast. That's fine. They Wish as I rest. In hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have clicked rest there. I could have saved it. Having Resto Chesto in front of Lantern would be nice. This thing wasn't a huge threat to me. I wasn't in range of Shadow Ball, so really didn't need to click rest there. I just saw that they died to Toxic, so I figured I'd get back to full. But that did not quite work. Out comes Lantern. I'm just going to body press this thing, figure out what its set is. Hopefully it doesn't Scald Burn me first try. I actually go Skuntank first because I want some damage on them. I forgot about that. They Scald, they burn me. They don't, that's fantastic. And they Discharge. This was the turn that was very unfortunate. They ended up being very fast on their Lantern. I went to Skuntank figuring I can get Chip, which will put it in range of Swanna. But no, they actually had a lot of speed on Lantern, which meant they outsped my Skuntank, and now they're at full HP, and I really struggled to kill this thing. Everything is in range of Terra Blast Ground from Swanna except this. I know they're fast, I know they're max special attack modest based on the damage they did to Skuntank, so I need this thing at about 70%. So as long as Orthworm can get a little bit of damage on it, I should win with Swanna. Orthworm comes out, they're going to be faster than me, they are. Do they burn me right away? They do. Body Press doesn't do very much damage. I could have clicked Iron Defense here, and then my Body Press would have done more damage the next turn. They Volt Switch out into Poltegeist as I rest, figuring they would 2-hit KO me, and my Body Press wouldn't be doing enough damage. So out comes Poltegeist. They Nasty Plot. Let me just check a calc. So Swanna actually would have lived the Shadow Ball after Rocks. So in hindsight, I probably should have gone into it here instead of staying in with Orthworm, because I know Lantern does not die to Terra Blast Ground. So if I sack Orthworm here, and then Swanna comes in, that is not a game-winning scenario. So I probably should have gone hard to Swanna. I would have lived Shadow Ball if they had it. I'm not going to activate their weak armor because I'm a special attacker. I'm not going to click flip turn. And I would have lived anything they can go for. So going hard Swanna, probably the play here instead of staying in with Orthworm and burning my sleep. They Shadow Ball. It's going to comfortably 2-hit KO me. Near the Oko. Shadow Ball kills me. And then I'm pretty much going to need to get a crit on Lantern here. I'm Scarf, so I'm faster than Cyclizar. They Endure, so they're Endure with weak armor to try to get speed boost. Not going to work here because that's a special attack. They go Cyclizar, not knowing if I'm Choice Scarf, I am. Out comes Lantern. And do we get our crit? We don't. It does 70%, so I needed them to take about 30% chip in order to win that game. A couple misplays that I think would have won me the game otherwise, like this turn here, going Swanna on the Shadow Ball, or on the Nasty Plot, sorry. I would have lived. Terra Blast Ground. Kills Poltegeist, kills Cyclozar, does a lot of damage to Lantern, and then Orthworm will beat Lantern at some point. With enough Iron Defense Body Press, unless they get really lucky with crits. That's one misplay, also clicking Rapid Spin instead of Ice Punch on the Gligar to get rid of the rocks, which means that Scald would not have killed me from Lantern. Unless they get an absolute max roll. Dual Wind Beat, that crit does suck a little bit, so we got a little unlucky there. But yeah, clicking Rapid Spin was probably the play there. If they go Poltegeist, I think it's not the end of the world. But otherwise, I think I played pretty well. Um, their Lantern being faster than my Skuntank here, that was a big deal, because otherwise I was getting 45% on their Lantern, putting them in range of Swanna. If I had Sucker Punch instead of something like Temper Flare, also would have won the game there, but I didn't think Sucker Punch was that valuable. The burn here does suck, 17%, so I would have done double that. I would have done 34%. So they would have been left at 2% instead. So they still would have won. That burn didn't lose me the game by any means, but that little bit of extra chip too. Um, Definitely a couple misplays in the late game. I had a very commanding first 20 turns. Maybe not 20, 13. This was almost an hour-long game. I played very slow. Apologies to my opponent, but I think we both played very well. They just brought the better team. Let's take a look at what they brought. So here's their team. They did have Overheat as the last move on Cyclozar. Max attack. We knew this all. We knew this. No low kick this time on Bisharp. They decided having Night Slash was more important, or Iron Head, or Sucker Punch, any of them really. We knew his max attack, max speed Gligar. Um, they had max speed so they can be faster than Skuntank. Very fast Lantern. Very unfortunate for me that they were that, and also them being leftovers pretty much saved them the game there. Just 4 attacks. Glaceon, nothing too surprising. Wish Protect 2 attacks, and then their Poltegeist set. Max speed, max special attack. With 2 attacks, Nasty Plot, Endure. So, that's the game. That's it for our perfect season, or what was our perfect season in Mafia. We went 8-0, won quarterfinals, and now semifinals. We had a very close game, but did end up losing. This was supposed to be my fun season, so I think I did pretty good. I drafted a triple electric team with 1 water resist. Pink Urchin, not good. I really wanted this thing to be good. It was not. Both times I brought it, it felt like it didn't do anything. I think Skuntank was low-key the team MVP. It was, I think, 12 or 11 points, and it was just as good as a lot of these other Pokemon that were 15 plus. Happy I could get that sweep with Terra Fairy Illumise. Snubble came to 1 game and did some work. Pretty happy with how the season went. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.